check out. Open 7 days a week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner to go, or for all of your catering needs. Visit us at mydeliciousdeli.com or give us a call at 561-393-3287. There is something for everyone. Join us at 7036 West Palmetto Park Boulevard in Boca Raton. 954-393-3287.
Did you know most people have no idea how their credit score works and no idea what their credit score is? Most people think just paying bills on time will ensure the best score possible. The reality is, 5 factors determine your credit rating: types of credit, length of credit, amount owed, inquiries, and payment history.
Did you know an employer can use your credit scores and history to determine whether they want to hire you? Your credit scores determine the premiums you pay for insurance on your car and homeowners insurance, as well as other premiums. Your credit score also determines the interest rates for your mortgage and car loans. Even your utilities and cell phone is based on your credit score. Crazy, right? Low credit scores is like flushing money down the drain.
We can put money back in your pocket. Tune in and let's talk credit. We are the Healthy Credit Gals. Let us show you how to create financial fitness and peace of mind.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Good evening, everyone. Hello out there.
Welcome to the weekend. I'm Gerald.
And I'm Lori.
And we are the Healthy Credit Gals. Our goal is to educate you on credit and financial matters. Join us on this journey to increase your awareness of credit and health and how they impact your life.
If you've ever experienced financial stress, and most of us have at some point, then you know how unsettling it can be. There are many ways to actively take control of the situation, restore your credit score, and rebuild your purchasing power.
If you have a question and want to join the show, call in at 888-565-1470 and let us guide you in creating financial fitness and peace of mind. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everybody. So excited to launch our show tonight. I'm Lori with the Healthy Credit Gals, and we're excited just to be able to share a lot of good information about credit and financial health. If you've ever had any kind of financial stress, most of us have in the last 10 years, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it affects your health. It actually keeps you up at night, makes you afraid every time the phone rings. Just all kinds of negative energy is brought with financial stress. So we want to open up a conversation that most people, it's been taboo to talk about, but now we want it to be out in the open. We want people to be empowered to take control of their financial health. If you've ever had an issue where you've gone to maybe purchase a house, you've gone to get a loan for a mortgage, or maybe purchase a car and been denied, or maybe you have been approved, but you're going to pay such a high interest rate. This is what bad credit does to you. You actually end up paying so much more for the same things that somebody that has good credit actually can get without any kind of down payment, any kind of money down, and a very low interest rate. So welcome to our show. I'm Lori Crabtree, and my business partner, Gerald, will be here shortly, stuck in traffic, of course, on the launch of our show. So nothing ever goes as normal. So just bear with us. We're excited, and we're just happy to be here sharing great information. My story of really what got me interested in credit, I've been in the medical field my whole life, and on the imaging side, I was able to look inside people's bodies and see how disease or health issues affected the actual internal parts of the body, the different organs, and any kind of disease can develop just from bad feelings, bad negative energy, thinking bad thoughts. You know, it all can take a toll on our bodies. So it's no different with financial stress. Financial stress really does affect you in a negative way. My situation, I went through a divorce. I had a lot of debt, and I'd always had very good credit, 800 plus my whole life. I got married. We didn't agree on how we managed our finances and overextended ourselves. Just very, very common with keeping up with the Smiths, keeping up with the Joneses, and, you know, we want to have a boat, we want to have a house, and didn't really think about how we were overextending ourselves. You don't really think about it when you're in the midst of it. One day, it just seemed very obvious that we weren't going to be able to pay back all of these bills. So that was just a really stressful time. It really impacted our marriage negatively. I went through a divorce, and after that, I just decided I really needed to focus on getting my credit back in place and being able to just feel good again. That was really how I started years ago about being more aware of credit. I wish I would have known then what I know now, just about how to manage your credit on a daily basis. The different variables that make up your credit, I wasn't aware of. You have 65% control of those variables out of 100%. So why not learn about that, get educated about it, and raise your credit score as much as you can. I was down to probably about a 610 at the worst time, and I didn't have the knowledge I have now. I just really worked like crazy. I was working so many hours. I felt like a hamster on a hamster wheel, totally, trying to just make enough money to pay off my bills. Once I did that, I decided it was time to just take a break and really feel good about where I was at. The next time I went to buy a car, I didn't have any kind of stress. The stress actually started going away, and I really focused on having a peace of mind about my finances. That's what we really want to share with you, is it's really not that difficult to gain the knowledge and make a few little simple changes in how you handle finances so that you can create a peaceful mind as well as having financial health. So this is where the show came into play. We're so excited just to be able to share and open up a conversation that empowers people to really get their credit back and get their finances back in order and have financial health. Next, I want to just go ahead and talk about credit. How did your life situation affect your credit and put you in a situation that might be stressful? If you have a question for me or for us, you can always give us a call during the show. Every Friday night, we're on from 6 to 7, and you can call in at 888-565-1470. We're also on the radio. Tune in at 1470 AM or 95.3 FM. So again, we're so excited to share a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, and my wonderful business partner is just jumping in. She just got here, and I want to welcome Gerald.
Hi, everyone. Well, this is life doesn't always align, and I-95 was not aligning for me today. But here we are, and so happy to be here, so excited, and we just want to talk about credit.
And so I shared a little bit about my story. I think if you want to just jump in and share maybe a couple things, take a breath, because I know the traffic was bad, but as you said, life happens to all of us. I was sharing how I went through a divorce. We were overextended, how that impacts your health and also your peace of mind.
Right.
I know that your situation too, we're all about empowering people. So why don't you share a little bit about your story?
Okay, so my story is going to start where a lot of my clients' stories start, which is back at the housing crash 2007, 8, 9, when things really started to fall apart, not only in South Florida, but I mean, the real estate market everywhere. Personally, I owned an architectural design firm with my husband, and we were probably one of the first industries to feel that crunch. So with that said, ultimately, that building was foreclosed on, so we lost our commercial property. I ended up losing my career. We had to file bankruptcy. We lost our home. My marriage collapsed.
Wow.
And I'm not, I own all of this. I mean, we all made mistakes. I mean, looking back, I can see where we did some things. But when we were trying to save the business, going through bankruptcy, one of the first things they do is credit counseling, and we were advised to borrow against our home. So ultimately, I lost my home. So there's things out there that, you know, we do like to get overextended. I'm guilty as charged. But life goes on, and I'm not that I'm so proud of all the mistakes I made, but here we are. And one of the scariest things, though, for me was I was forced to find a new profession, the insurance world. I put my resume out there. It was the insurance world that answered my call, and my only thought process was, oh my God, that's 180 degrees from where I am. That must be where I need to go. I landed at an agency that I was not happy with. So now I'm in a miserable job thinking I have no choices. And when I went out to search for other opportunities, I was declined because of all my mishaps. So that probably on top of everything that had actually happened, that was probably one of the scariest.
I don't think most people realize that your credit actually, any employer can use your credit, pull your credit to determine if they're going to hire you or even for advancements. So that's exactly what you're talking about, right?
Right. So to think that here you are trying, you know, I mean, I knew I'm a good person. On paper, I probably looked horrible. And if that's all people are being judged on is what is on paper, what your credit score is, or what your debt credit ratio is, like, oh my God. So how do you even get out of the hole you just found yourself buried in? And it's scary, and we've been there, and we know what it's like. And we're here to let you know there are solutions. There's a light, and it may be baby steps, but there's steps to take. And this is probably one of the first steps to take. Is getting your score back in order. It may seem minimal, but I think it's really huge.
Yeah, I think honestly, just getting the knowledge and knowing that there are options is the biggest thing. I know when I was in the midst of it, I felt like, gosh, I didn't know where to turn to. And honestly, the conversation is something that we're here to share with you now. So let's take a break, and we'll be back shortly. And don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Did you know that having less than
people
perfect
think
credit
just
can
paying
cost
bills on
upwards
time
of $1 million in interest rates, fees, and other unnecessary charges over your lifetime? And did you know 80% of credit reports have errors causing lower credit scores? And did you know 43 million people have a credit score of 599 or less?
Less than perfect credit leaves you with little or no control. The Healthy Credit Gals can help. We are the Healthy Credit Gals. Let us show you how to create financial fitness and peace of mind. Tune in and let's talk credit on 1470 AM and 95.3 FM.
You've been listening to the Healthy Credit Gals inform you of how important good credit is.
Good
and
evening,
the stressful
everyone.
impact bad credit can have on your overall well-being. Visit our website at thehealthycreditgals.com and learn what options you have. Now, let's get back to the show.
So look at the camera. Right.
Welcome back, everybody. So we are, again, the Healthy Credit Gals. I'm Lori.
And I'm Gerald. And we're just happy to be here. We're like, I'm sorry, I was running late, and in the back of my head, Donna Summers is playing on the radio. So I had to throw that out there. I would sing, but you don't really don't want me to.
That's not what you get paid for. So let's just stick to what we know, right? What we've been through in our lessons and how we can share it with other people. Okay. Awesome. So let's talk credit specifically. We were talking before we went to break how a life situation can affect you and your credit, and how then that low credit score impacts your life. If you want to call in and share what your story is, give us a call at 888-565-1470. So Gerald, you were already sharing a little bit about how all the impacts happened to you and how it affected your life. Do you want to explain a little bit more on that?
Well, sure. I mean, bankruptcy is a big one. A lot of us, I don't think anyone wants to go through bankruptcy. At one point, it has a huge stigma. I know for me, it was the last place I wanted to be. It felt devastating. Like, oh my God, because, you take responsibility for your actions, and this was kind of like maybe not taking responsibility, but sometimes it is the solution, and there is life after bankruptcy, and it wipes the slate clean, but you are it stays on your credit report. It doesn't have to stay on forever,
right?
So maybe there's some of you out there wondering what that limit is, or how that looks, and how long it's going to impact your life. And I think there's a myth, maybe 7 to 10 years, that the bankruptcy has to stay on. And
I think the good news is that I always like to share with people, because this is a common question that we get asked all the time. And I have an attorney that does a free consultation with people, seeing if it's really the best option. He's not going to just throw somebody into bankruptcy. There's a formula, there's a way that they figure out what the best solution for you is. So I always recommend people get all of their options before they make a decision on bankruptcy. But like you said, it is a solution. It does help wipe the slate clean for a lot of people, and it doesn't damage your credit forever. You can start recovering by all of the items that are thrown into that bankruptcy can immediately start getting removed from your credit reports, and that helps you in the recovery process. It helps give people hope again that they're able to start looking forward to having a better credit score. It's not a permanent mark on their credit or on their life.
I mean, the other thing, not that I'm advocating bankruptcy, it just seems to be so prevalent. It does eliminate the debt credit ratio that's so important. So once that gets, back to a flat line or from below water, and you're on solid ground again, you have the opportunity to rebuild. It's important, though, not to make the same mistakes over and over and over. It is nice if you can learn from that one. I know many people have multiple bankruptcies. It happens, and those, all that stuff, all the derogatory marks can be handled.
Correct.
It may take time, but they can be handled.
And the thing to keep in mind, most people think, okay, I'm just going to pay a fee and have everything wiped off. It is a process. It didn't get that way overnight. So you can't expect it to just go away overnight. That's, I think, something that a lot of people don't want to understand, even though logically it makes sense. It's not, it's an expectation that is unrealistic. So there are a lot of solutions, and people just need to be ready for the process and participate in learning those lessons and putting them in place and
pulling your head out of the sand. You've got to pull it out and take a look at what's actually going on in your life. Take responsibility, know what you're paying, pay on time, know what your expenses are. I mean, there's a lot of people that we talk to, and they just, I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. I don't know. So, but we're here to help you understand it. So, that's a good thing.
The great thing is, I think, just again, the conversation that was so taboo so long ago. I know when I went through my issues, it's embarrassing. You feel like you failed, like you didn't do good enough. And it's really not. It's not uncommon. Probably 8 out of every 10 people have had some type of credit issue. Life happens. You might have medical bills that occurred when you didn't have health insurance. It's a very common thing.
Well, medical bills is a big one. Medical issues for a lot of people is what puts them over the edge. Not only do you have medical bills, you're then sometimes not able to work. A statistic, I'm in the insurance industry, as many of my friends know. 60% of bankruptcies are caused by medical issues with people who have insurance. So insurance isn't always the end-all answer either. So medical issues really play such a crucial role in recovering from, getting that under control. And there's ways to do that. There's ways to handle the medical bills and hopefully getting you healthy and getting you back to work, because that's huge.
So let's switch the focus and talk about something that is probably the most common issue that I hear of.
Okay.
From that decade of the downturn in economy, so many people had short sales and foreclosures.
Right.
And lost their homes. And I have, clients that financially have recovered, but they never addressed their credit issue. So even if they were investors, I have doctors that are on services to help raise their credit score so that they can, qualify for the best loan and pay the least amount of interest. So
right, a lot of times that was a loss of investment properties. These were considered nest eggs. I know mine was considered my nest egg. So that was gone, and that, it does change course of direction of where to go next. And yeah.
So I've had people just recently, I had somebody that was an investor, had 7 or 8 properties. All of those properties were either short saled or foreclosed on. And they gave them all back. The credit score went down to like the high 400s, which, most people would say, how does it even get that low? How low can it go? Mm-hmm. Well, the scale is actually 350 to 850 is kind of the general scale. I think you can get up to a 900, but just the way that the scores are calculated, those are the parameters that I usually let people know. This one investor that I'm thinking of, she actually gave back all of those properties. She became a protection plan member, was able to recover her score, get rid of all 7 of those foreclosures and short sales off of her credit.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it was less than a year.
Okay.
Which is not a long time to recover from all of that.
Right.
And she's up in the 700s now and just keeps going up because of now her knowledge now of knowing how you can make little changes to adjust.
That's such a great story, Lori.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so common, too.
Right. So, yeah. It's so within a year to have your score just blossom. How amazing is that?
It's empowering. I think it's so empowering to people. And then to know that you can now have that strut back in your step when you walk into a car dealership.
Right.
And now you can buy a car and you get to name your terms instead of having the terms dictated to you.
Right. And that's very powerful to walk in with your peacock feathers on, knowing that you can own anything you want at the terms you want. What a difference as opposed to, oh my God. can I even do this?
Yes.
Or I don't want to buy a new car, but I have to. Or so, yeah, that's a great story.
It really makes a difference in how you feel about yourself when you take the time to learn the knowledge and make a few differences in how you handle your bills, handle your credit, and before you know it, you can be up in the 700s and 800s. It's not impossible. It's just taking a little bit of time to learn and putting a little effort in on your own part to take the actions that will help you increase your score.
Now, what about the little things? Because I got a call from a potential client. She forgot to pay her bill one time and was late for $40. Like, how silly is that? And that one payment seemed to bring her score down by 100 points. Crazy.
It is crazy, but it's, again, just power. Knowledge is power.
Right.
I really feel like knowledge is power. And I always share with people, if that's not your norm, everybody makes a mistake, a slip up once in a while on bills. So if it's something that's not your norm, why not take the time, call that, whether it's your house, your mortgage, your car loan, whatever bill that you're late on, go ahead and call them. A lot of times they will waive the fee and they won't report it as a late payment if you just ask. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. But if you ask, 9 times out of 10, if you're a good client and you're a good customer and you pay your bills on time, the majority of the time, they recognize that people make slip-ups and they will usually adjust for that.
Now, just for my information and the information out there, so if I'm late, I'm on the 31st day, does it automatically get reported? How does that work?
You really have to ask whoever it is that you're paying that payment to. So every company does things a little bit differently. They usually have an across-the-board date, so it may not be in alignment with your 30 days, your specific pay dates or due dates, but they usually report across the board at the same time for all of their clients. So it's usually done electronically.
Okay.
And so if you do take the time to at least make that call, there's usually a grace period in there, and they will, even if you're late, they will usually waive the late fee and not make that report as a late payment for you.
Right. Now that's so good to know. And the point is, if you don't know until you ask, like, what's the worst thing that can happen is they say no. So I think developing that relationship. All right, I think we're taking a break.
Yeah. we're getting told, let's take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Did you know most people have no idea how their credit score works and no idea what their credit score is? Most people think just paying bills on time will ensure the best score possible. The reality is, 5 factors determine your credit rating: types of credit, length of credit, amount owed, inquiries, and payment history.
Did you know an employer can use your credit scores and history to determine whether they want to hire you? Your credit scores determine the premiums you pay for insurance on your car and homeowner's insurance, as well as other premiums. Your credit score also determines the interest rates for your mortgage and car loans. Even your utilities and cell phone is based on your credit score. Crazy, right? Low credit scores is like flushing money down the drain.
We can put money back in your pocket. Tune in and let's talk credit. We are the Healthy Credit Gals. Let us show you how to create financial fitness and peace of mind.
You've been listening to the Healthy Credit Gals inform you of how important good credit is and the stressful impact bad credit can have on your overall well-being. Visit our website at thehealthycreditgals.com and learn what options you have. Now, let's get back to the show.
You want me to do?
Hello again. We're back and we're ready to go. Okay, so we decided we're going to play a little game.
Yes.
It's called Truth or Myth. And
So it's a credit truth
it's a credit truth.
or a credit myth,
And
right?
it's not to be confused with Truth or Dare, like games that we played from our childhood, but that's fun too.
So we're going to actually share with you a statement. Your job is going to be to figure out, is it a truth or is it a myth?
Right.
It's all about credit. And if you want to play along, call in 888-565-1470. And whoever calls in first with the first correct answer, we are going to give away a free credit consultation. So feel free to pick up the phone. It's a conversation we are always having on a daily basis. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Call in and share with us or call in and participate.
Yeah,
Here we go.
We would love to hear from you. All right, so truth or myth? Credit agencies are empowered with some kind of governmental authority. Truth or myth? I'm going to read it again just to make sure we got it clear. So, credit agencies are empowered with some kind of governmental authority. What do you think? And we'll wait to hear from you. And we'll just keep on talking.
Keep on chatting, and we'll wait to hear if you want to call in. Again, the number is 888-565-1470. And again, just let us know, do you think that's a credit truth or do you think that's a credit myth? So let's get back to some good conversation here about credit. Is there anything recent that came up with you or with any of your clients that maybe a question or?
Well, I would say the other big one that seems to put people into this spin is divorce. People don't seem to be staying married these days. So a whole nother conversation. And a lot of times in a household, in a husband wife or two person household, one person is responsible for bills and money, and the other person is left a little in the dark.
Good point. Very good point.
So someone is coming to us with their head in the sand and frantic and just they don't know, and it's a scary place to be. I think a lot of times it is the woman, but not always. Not always.
Not always. I've had clients on both sides, but that's a very good point. A lot of relationships that I have with divorce attorneys, it's so common that people don't know what to do if they're the one that has been in the dark, so to speak, for so long. How do you now learn how to pay bills and even anything about your budget if you weren't involved in it at all?
Right. So yeah, I think it's really important to know everything you have and to write it down. I mean, it's going back and making the list, money coming in, money going out, and simple steps back to being very elementary about it. But it's your household. And of course you want to make sure there's more money coming in than going out. If it's the reverse, something more needs to be looked at.
This is true. And I think, honestly, when there is a divorce, it's really important. This is a question, it's just ringing a bell with me, that one of the divorce attorneys that I work with had brought up before. So it's really important to have it all written down. Who's responsible for the bills when you divorce if both of your names have been on it the whole time you've been married? So if it's a credit card, maybe it's a shared credit. So now you have to split that off. And you do have to then close those accounts and start over. Or if you were the primary on that particular account, then the secondary person can be dropped and you can continue, which is really important because that helps you establish your credit longevity, your credit history. How long you have built credit is extremely, extremely important. So that's something that we always get that question. should I pay off a bill, pay off a credit card, and just close it out? Well, when you close it out, you're actually closing out that whole history. So if you've had that account, say it was a Macy's card and you've had it for 20 years, you're wiping out that 20-year history. So now you have less of a credit portfolio than what you started with.
So what's the best way to split that and move forward as solo entities?
I think
you're not
honestly,
closing it out.
right. If you can, if there's a primary and you can come to agreement and have it in writing in your divorce decree, who's responsible for which bills going forward, and maybe the wife can take one, the husband can take another if you have multiple credit cards. The best thing is not to close it out if you can help it. Now, that's not always going to be the option. If you're
Right.
both listed equally on a credit card, then paying it off and closing it is probably your only option.
Gotcha.
But who's responsible for paying it off is what can be a real sticking point in a divorce agreement.
Now, sometimes one person has all the credit and someone's left without any. If they've married, they've come together and everything's in one name. And that's not necessarily a great place to be either. I mean, you're not inheriting debt,
Right.
but you kind of are at ground zero and starting where you're at. And it's hard to, you got to start establishing credit.
I think it's really important, even if divorce is not a situation for you, to make sure that both parties are building credit when you're in a marriage. Everything shouldn't be in just one person's name because that can be devastating if there is a divorce. So it is very important for not only the secondary person. So if I have an account in my name and I add my husband, that's much different than him being the primary on some and me being the primary on others, and establishing our own credit lines, because everybody has their own social security number, and that's what credit is based on. It's pulled and it's built, as well as bad credit affects the social security number that is associated with each account.
Right. And often, I mean, one of the spouses can have not such great credit, and the other spouse manages to stay very clean and consistent. So just one more thing to consider maybe before you get married, to take a look at how people pay their bills and who's responsible, and knowing those things. It's the nitty-gritty of life that sometimes gets in the way and makes things so difficult. But these are important things, and
I have to say that it just brings to mind, if everybody was walking around on the street and you could see a little cloud above their head with their credit score, how would that make you think differently of people? And would you judge who you would date at a younger age if you knew how important credit was for the impact of everything in your daily life going forward?
So I can see a new dating service called iScore Cloud, or
Know Your Score, know your partner's score. Yeah, before you pick who you want.
And you're matched that way.
That should be part of the portfolio,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
You should know what you're getting into. Definitely. That would be a fun conversation to be a fly on the wall.
Well,
so to speak, right? If that's what you're going to base
it would be fun for you and me.
It would be fun for us. But once you know the importance of credit, I think that it would be actually something that people should look at. And you should know what kind of debt your partner has before you join your lives together.
There'll be a new Facebook page. We're disclosing our credit scores on Facebook.
Yeah, I think it does make you look at people differently, or at least used to. But now everybody's in recovery mode. So,
that's a great word, Lori.
Yeah.
Recovery mode.
It is.
And that's where we step in. We're part of that recovery. I love that.
Yeah, it's all about restoring your score,
right,
and recovering and having hope and knowing that it's obtainable. It's not like once you go below 500 or below 600 that you can't recover and get back to a 700. Your score actually is a moving target. Every day, some positive things are reported and some negative things might be reported. So as different things are reported, your score varies and changes all the time. It can change every single day.
Wait, is anyone playing our game?
I don't know. Maybe we should just share.
All right.
We have some shy people out there today, so maybe as you get more comfortable with us, you'll want to join in on our party.
We hope so. We want to hear from you. It would be really great. It would be really great if you called into our show.
888-565-1470. So do you want to share? Is that a credit myth or is that a credit truth? Why don't you read it one more time?
Okay, so I'm going to read it one more time. Good idea, Lori. All right. So credit agencies are empowered with some kind of governmental authority. Truth or myth? Well, credit agencies have no legal authority at all, so it's a myth. They are simply private. And I think I think a lot of people do believe credit bureaus are government agencies. They are private agencies, and they are making money to report all those derogatory items that are found on your credit report. That is how they make money. Now, they do not make money by taking things off. So they're a little slower to do that. It's not one of the things they enjoy doing because they're spending time and they are not getting paid for it. So that's really important to know. So credit agencies have no legal authority at all. They are simply private companies who are in the business of selling credit information.
Right.
And they sound very powerful. Credit bureaus, like
I think that bureau word.
Bureau, like how powerful is that?
Well, and it is. It's very misleading. We really think of bureaus as usually part of our government. So,
right, FBI,
right,
it's the bureau.
Yeah,
right.
But really, I mean, honestly, the credit bureaus do not even check. They don't check or verify that anything that's being reported. They don't check all the details of it. So I think it's 8 out of every 10 credit reports have a mistake on it.
And if they're even 1 cent off and you dispute it, it has to come off.
If it's not 100% correct.
100% correct. It has to be 100% correct. So, that's powerful. That's powerful for you to know that, oh my God, I have some say in what's going on my credit report, but you have to look at your credit report to know what's going on.
All right, back in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Did you know that having less than perfect credit can cost you upwards of $1 million in interest rates, fees, and other unnecessary charges over your lifetime? And did you know 80% of credit reports have errors causing lower credit scores? And did you know 43 million people have a credit score of 599 or less?
Less than perfect credit leaves you with little or no control. The Healthy Credit Gals can help. We are the Healthy Credit Gals. Let us show you how to create financial fitness and peace of mind. Tune in and let's talk credit on 1470 AM and 95.3 FM.
You've been listening to the Healthy Credit Gals inform you of how important good credit is and the stressful impact bad credit can have on your overall well-being. Visit our website at thehealthycreditgals.com and learn what options you have. Now, let's get back to the show.
Looking at you, Mom.
Welcome back, everybody. So we left off at a very important point. So I wanted to make sure that we mentioned to people the Fair Credit Reporting Act was enacted. It was a bill that was voted on so that we have some rights that protect us. And actually, it was from 1971, I believe. And we have rights that we can dispute anything and everything that's on our credit reports.
Yeah, that's getting back to the inaccuracy of credit reports. And a lot of times we do feel powerless, but this act was put in place to give us that power. And the credit bureaus many times would rather pay that fine than actually make sure that the information that they're reporting is accurate. And it's not supposed to work that way. So once again, it's power. It's your knowledge. Knowledge is so powerful. We're pulling your head out of the sand and you're seeing the light.
That's the visual we want to point out to people. Is it really is in your power, and you don't have to keep your head in the sand. You don't have to keep your head buried. There is a lot of information, a lot of tips that we want to share, a lot of education. It really is all about learning what you can do and what you can control. So we'll get into that on another show. There's really
that's a whole show in itself, and we're really just going back to almost the opening, since I think I missed it, but just the conversation. We want people to be able to converse, and if it is, we understand it's very private and it's very personal, and a lot of times it touches you emotionally and spiritually, and I mean, in every way possible. It just has that whole your financial drain, like that drain of financial angst really does affect everything. I mean, your health, your stress levels. So if we can get that under control and get that baby step moving forward, it's powerful. We want to empower you. We really do.
It really is something after you've gone through it and you can be on the other side of it and realize, gosh, there is so many different things that you have control of. You can sleep good at night again. You really do feel like you have your peace of mind. And that's what I feel like we help people with. We help them not only just with their credit. I mean, that's one of the items with your financial health. But really, it's all about getting your peace of mind, having everything in place, having everything protected. It's not just about credit. There's so many other options out there that will help you and empower you to protect your family, to protect your finances, your identity. We're going to talk about all these different things down the road. But I mean, I don't even know if you realize Florida is #1 in the whole country for identity theft. And that can ruin your credit alone. So really, it's taking back the power and knowing as technology advances, these types of things are going to continue to be issues. So if you don't have protection in place, then you are really at risk.
Right. And, protection comes in all different forms. So this is, Lori and I do have backgrounds from different angles in staying healthy. I mean, so it's not only your financial health, it's your physical health, but identity theft, like someone taking your identity and making a mess of that, it's not a healthy place to be. And that stress alone is crazy. Like, and of course, once you get your credit score where you want it to be, you want to protect it because someone else out there is going to want it. If you're back in the 700 plus range,
absolutely,
it's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, definitely. And for less than $3 a day, you can have all of these different services that we talk about that help you and walk you through all the different steps to getting your protection in place. So,
and we're here to walk you through all that. We're here to hold your hand. We will hold your hand.
Yes,
and guide you. I mean, if you want us to.
If you're ready for it. I mean, honestly, it's something that has been hidden for so long. Like the conversation has been something that people don't admit to. But nowadays, you have the conversation. How many times have I been asked now, what do you do in helping people recover with their credit? It's just something that almost everybody needs. How
Right.
many people do you know with less than perfect credit?
Right.
And
How
that
many
answer is usually
I need you.
Everybody.
I need you.
Yes.
Or, oh my God, we need to talk. So it's prevalent, it's out there, and we praise you if you've got an amazing credit score. Like, good for you. Hold on to it. And monitor it. That's important to know what it
Absolutely.
is. Monitor it, protect it, and feel proud because it's an accomplishment these days. It's just mind-boggling, though, how much of our lives depends on that number.
That number.
That number. We're being looked at as a number.
it's true. And you know what?
Three numbers.
Right.
It's just crazy.
How many people don't even know what their credit score is? And maybe they're using some of these free apps and thinking that that's an accurate score. That's a whole nother
Like,
issue.
yeah,
that everybody's
used
offering
that,
it.
and it's not correct.
It can be off as, I've had a lot of clients, it can be off as much as 100 points because not all places are using the same formula to come up with your score. So how important is it that you really want the FICO score, the score that is used the most by most dealerships, mortgage brokers, people that are pulling your credit? 9 times out of 10, it's the FICO score. That's the prevalent one. That's the one that you really need to be following from all 3 credit bureaus. And the credit bureaus that are utilized, there's more credit bureaus out there than the 3 that are the
Right.
big 3. So again, knowledge is
Lori,
power.
I think that's a great next show.
Maybe that'll be the next show.
I think that's important to understand the difference between, say, a Credit Karma that you can get for free versus the accurate credit scores that can be pulled in the 3 different agencies that we're looking at, although there are a lot more out there.
Correct.
And the understanding of how that all fits into your life.
It's true. Credit, I mean, that score is something that really determines everything you can do in life, what you can purchase, right down to a cell phone, all of your utility
Electric
bills.
bill.
Yeah.
Getting the job.
Getting a job.
Getting
yeah.
a job. And that's scary because you know, until you get that job, they land that money flow back in, nothing's going to change. And the fact that you can be looked at as a piece of paper, as the 3 numbers.
So again, we want to just end on a very happy note. So
Right.
let's just talk about what our purpose is. Our purpose really is, like I started out with and you referred to, it's really giving you so many different tools and so much knowledge, and it might be more knowledge than what you want. A lot of people don't want to learn all about the details, which is fine as long as you're aware of what your score is, how you can protect it, and how it's utilized in so many assets
Right.
of
And
your
know-
life,
and knowing-
aspects of your life.
Knowing where you can get help. So knowing that there are people out there like Lori and myself that can guide you, and knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and knowing that there's a way to breathe again and sleep well at night, and we're here to offer those solutions. I think is, you know, the end result is and to be able to purchase that home that your credit score was restored, to purchase that home or to land that job or to walk into that car dealership knowing that I can set my terms.
Right. I think it's really important. It really is. So right now, we are in the midst. We're brand new. So just be patient with us for our social media. We have our website. We have all different types of social media that should be up by next week, by our next show, which is every
Absolutely.
Friday night. You want to just tune in with us, 1470 AM or 95.3 FM from 6 to 7 p.m.
Right.
And hopefully you can learn a few tips that will help you. I mean, there's so much out there. We're able to just share and empower. And like Gerald said, we want to shed light on that there is a path to restoring your score.
Right.
So
Yes, shedding light on a heavy situation and removing that
elephant,
that
like-
elephant's the elephant on your chest. Yeah, absolutely. And I've been there. I mean, I think most of us, listen, you don't get to these points in your life. I mean, I'm middle-aged. I'm probably above middle-aged at this point, but you don't get there without going through life. But it can be a beautiful thing.
bumps in the road happen to all of us. It's just so common, but we hope you join us and continue to join us to learn and to be empowered to take control of your credit and your financial health and your peace of mind.
Right.
So on that note, I think we're about ready to call it a night.
So thank you for joining us on our first radio show. Yay.
Yes. All right, everybody, have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.
Bye.
Thanks.
You've been listening to the Healthy Credit Gals with solutions on how to create financial fitness and peace of mind. Visit our website, thehealthycreditgals.com, or call us at 888-315-3182. See you next week. Same time, same place for more tips and info. Enjoy the weekend.